See. How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the Boss Lando Guild. I am your one and only imported host here on the channel, Sahil. And today we're going to be talking about CyBall. CyBall is basically a card game that is based on a football field, which uses or utilizes multiple strategies to win in various game modes, of course. But before we talk about that, why don't you do me a favor and smash the life out of that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your family and friends. Alright, we're going to be looking at the white paper for CyBall, and as they start off with the introduction, Space Boy Fusk has finally defeated Big Boy Bogdan and Father Haze, allowing Cyblocks, the name of the NFTs, to roam freely within the Earth. What's the first thing to be done? Start up their own World Game Association, of course. Enter the world of Cyblocks, cyborgs on the blockchain. So as I mentioned earlier, CyBall is basically a card game that is based on a football field, soccer if you're based in the US, where users can collect and form a team of Cyblocks and face off against other teams online, or trade and mentor new Cyblocks. So the ecosystem is pretty straightforward. Minting process is pretty cut and clear. As for the gameplay, we will talk about that later, but it gets a little complex down the line, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled. So let's talk about these Cyblock NFTs. So number one, we have the classes. This is the rarity of the Cyblock, and it determines the range of a Cyblock starting skill and of course the potential of its growth. So they come in 5 different classes, starting in at bronze. We then have silver, gold, platinum, and legendary. As for the traits, they are pretty straightforward as well. You have your common, your rare, and your super rare, and they have a various amount of traits as well. So the one that I mentioned earlier was the rarity. As for the traits, you have multiple. You have your team player, show off, all-rounder, pro defender, clinical finisher, dead-eye crosser, fancy footwork, true athlete, maestro, strong starter, etc. and a lot more. There's actually a list of 50 various traits. So if you guys are wanting to read more in depth, we will leave a link to the white paper in the description below. So go ahead and check that out if you're looking to scratch your itch. Now, as for these skills, there are 6 footballing skills of a Cyblock, namely tackling, passing, dribbling, crossing, shooting, and physical. Now, these skills are used as a key event criteria, also referred to as the match engine mechanic, which help determine if your team is going to win or not. All Cyblocks are born with a base rating of 1 for each skill when you start at level 1. These are also randomly generated, so if you're looking to draw, join your hands together and start praying to the RNG gods. A Cyblock is given 1 free skill point at every level, up until its max level at 100. These free skill points can be assigned to any of the Cyblock 6 skills, up to a maximum of 40 skill points per skill. So as you can see here, this is the minimum base if you start at bronze at level 1. Same goes for the max base, silver, gold, platinum, legendary, etc. This is the total skill ratings requirements when you eventually reach your max level. Of course, 40 points per skill is quite a bit, so you're going to have to invest wisely as to how you want to eventually play out if you're looking to build a team or kind of just play alone to make your Cyblock self-sufficient. As for the overall rating, you can see that there's an equation here. This is the general way if you're looking to get the skill rating of your Cyblock. As for the level and XP, as I mentioned earlier, you start off at level 1 and eventually you work up your way to level 100. For every 100 experience points a Cyblock earns, it levels up and gains a brand new free skill point. And a Cyblock will reset to level 1 and 0 XP when an NFT is transferred, traded, or loaned out to a new buyer. Now, as for the country, of course, if you're looking to, rep your country's flag on your jersey kit, all the countries are represented in this game. As for the match stats, the list is pretty straightforward. Within the game, a Cyblock's match stats are stored and updated after each match. These stats include number of games played, number of games won and lost, number of goals scored, assists, key events, and percentage of participated key events won. Mentoring history, as I said earlier, there is a minting aspect to this game. They refer to it as mentoring in this game, and a CyBlock profile will also contain its mentoring history, including mentoring count. You have up to 3 times the mint, and which CyBlock mentored which. Now, as for the game mechanics and features, we have quite a bit of game modes here. Number 1 being Exhibition. You have a 3v3 and a 5v5 exhibition match. In a 3v3, you have 6 key events. In a 5v5, you have 10 key events. A 3v3 will run you up roughly about 3 energy per match. A 5v5 will run you up about 5 energy per match. And you only receive 100 energy per day. So at maximum, you get up to 33 games per day. And same goes for the 5v5 as well. Key difference, 3v3 is a shorter match. 5v5 is a longer match, but reward staking is much different. You have a minimum base set for rewards at a 3v3. You get more rewards in a 5v5. Next up, we have a league mode. This is where users can compete to rise to the top of the ladder. This mode runs season by season and may be split into multiple events to cater teams of different ratings. To enter, users must create and register their teams of 7 CyBlocks, 5 starting and 2 subs, at the start of the season. These lineups will then remain unchanged throughout any particular season. So matches will not cost you any energy, and you will get a higher amount of rewards compared to your exhibition mode. As for the tournaments are prestigious events that will only feature the best teams at the highest level of competition. To enter, users must be invited by tournament organizers. After accepting the invitation, users can proceed to create and register their teams of 7 CyBlocks. Again, 5 starting and 2 subs. And throughout the tournament, these lineups cannot be subject to change. As for the training, you have a 3v3 battle situation. 6 key events also will not cost you any energy, and you're going up against AI. As for the hire a coach, this is basically their automatic training mode. This allows your CyBlock to be trained without requiring the user's inputs or attention during the training process. Of course, this one will run you up 0 energy, but it will cost you an amount of tokens, which we will talk about later on in the video. And this will only give out experience. You will not be earning any rewards from this, considering this is just the training phase of the game. Now, as I said earlier, in the energy, you only have 100 energy per day. So if you're looking to play only 3v3, you have a max of 33 games per day. But if you're looking to do a 5v5 exhibition, you'll only get to play up to 20 games. As for the matchmaking system, this is pretty straightforward. You will be matched up with and against users of the same skill level. Initially, PvP pairing is based on the team's combined skill sums, but in this case, the matchmaking will attempt to pair the users whose teams are within 100 of their total skill ratings. Now let's talk about the match engine logic. Earlier, I mentioned that there were key events in the game, and of course, you have to pay attention to that. Key events can basically run you a win and can run you a loss, and will give you a very significant advantage, aka an opportunity to shoot a goal unbothered. So a key event. So this may look like a lot to you on the white paper, but let me summarize this for you in the best way I possibly can. A key event is basically an event, from its name, wherein you will be required to fulfill a demand in the game. So in this case, a CyBlock will require a key event which will utilize his crossing skill, maybe his dribbling skill, passing, his physical, his shooting, his tackling. But this does not only apply to one CyBlock. There are key events where 2 CyBlocks will be hand-plucked from the team and will utilize the same skill as well. This can also run you up as a solo user, but you have to utilize 2 skills, and can apply also to a tandem utilizing 2 skills. So in this case, say you're a tandem, you and your friend get hand-plucked from your team to fulfill a key event. You have to work on your crossing and dribbling, you have to accomplish an event that requires crossing and passing, etc., so on and so forth. As for the strategies and goalkeepers, of course, as a goalkeeper, what is your goal? It is to keep the goal. So pretty much straightforward, right? As a goalkeeper, all you have to do is protect your goal. Now for a tactic card, earlier I mentioned that this game is a card game. So what do you have to do? You have to utilize your cards to your advantage, and that entails using these cards specifically and especially during key events to help win you the event. So these tactic cards can start at skill boosts, randomizers, can increase your stamina, may blow out your death, also reduce cooldowns, may enhance your goalkeeper, and of course a special skill which will have considerable impact on the game. So here are the tactic cards. You have Nutmeg Update, Force Update, Stun, Tactical Fouls, so on and so forth. If you're looking to read more about this, again, white paper is in the description box below. Now, as for a showdown, this is a sequence of 6 penalty kicks occurring at the end of the match in the event of a tie, where players take turns shooting and goalkeeping. So, in case the game does come to a tie at the end of regulation, you will have basically a kickoff, a penalty kickoff. Post-match results and rewards. Upon the end of the match, the player is moved to a screen displaying relevant match data, including the final score, which team scored in each key event, of course your goal scorers, goal assisters, and the key events are distinguished by a color. For the match rewards, the multiplier for the rewards, if you're at bronze, will be at ×1, silver ×1.2, gold ×1.8, platinum ×2.5, and at legendary, taking a major jump at ×7. Now, as for the forfeit, if you feel like you're not willing to continue or compete against the other player, you have the option to forfeit from your match. Now, future expansions for the game. Of course, you have your Pep Talk, but not much info has been given about it just yet. Stadium Manager, you get to create your own stadium, so there is some land aspect to this game as well, and you get to create a custom list of key events. Now for the ecosystem. Mentoring. As we mentioned mentoring earlier, mentoring is basically minting, and this allows experienced Cyblocks, which are at least 5 days old, to mentor new junior Cyblocks, potentially passing on their classes and traits in the process. Junior Cyblocks are freshly minted NFTs on the blockchain and also new characters within the game. To avoid significant inflation, each eligible Cyblock can only mentor up to 3 new Cyblocks in total and only once every 5 days. Users may choose to mentor using 1 or 2 Cyblocks at a time. So the more major Cyblocks, I guess, you have, then the more junior Cyblocks you can mentor. As for the NFT marketplace, again, link to that will be in the description box below. If you're looking to spend a significant chunk of change on, if you want to nosedive into this game already, you can go ahead and do so. Loans are also available for this. If you're looking to take out a loan on one of these NFTs, may it be Ronaldo, may it be Messi, may it be whoever, to grant you significant chunk of change in your pocket. And this is the automated market maker known as Cydex. So this is a DAO as well, a decentralized autonomous organization, which means users who have a significant amount of the governance token have voting rights pretty much in wherever the game may go. Now for the token model, the CyBlock Battery Token, or CBT, is an ERC20 and BEP20 token with no fixed supply. This is basically the play-to-earn reward and the utility token of the game. What can you use this in? Compete in various PvP modes, you can earn revenue from the loans, and of course, these are the rewards for performing in key events and performing in other events that come with the game. You must spend CBT, however, if you're looking to mint, and of course, if you're looking to hire a coach. Now, as for the CyBall Token, which is also an ERC20 and a BEP20 token, this has a fixed supply. This is the governance token, a utility, and also a play-to-earn token. So how can you earn them? Special rewards for competing in league and tournament PvP modes, staking as well, and special rewards for users who perform various activities that help the ecosystem. You may require to spend some CYB in the minting phase of the game. Now for the game and ecosystem flow, this is pretty straightforward. I will enhance the picture for you if you're looking to pause the video and go in depth into it, but this is pretty much how the ecosystem of the game works when it comes to trading, when it comes to purchasing, loaning, etc. General gameplay, all of that jazz can be found here. Now the technology. This was supposed to be built on Ethereum, but due to the gas fees, it was a little bit out of proportion. So eventually this game did transition into Binance Smart Chain and will eventually utilize Solana once it is multi-game ready. As for the roadmap, this has been broken down into 3 separate phases. Phase 1 being from November to December 2021, Phase 2 being from January to Feb 2022, and then Phase 3 from March to May 2022. So at the time of recording, January 2022, we are safe to say in phase number 2 already. We have the ecosystem update. They're introducing the 5v5 exhibition mode. You have your training modes. And of course, they're optimizing the economical model of the play-to-earn game model. As for Phase 3, we have yet to see. We only have been given details about the infrastructure update, just general gameplay update. As I mentioned, Pep Talks and Stadium Manager if you're looking to own some land, that will be released in Phase 3. As for the token economy update, that will come with that as well. Now we move on to the bitter part of this conversation. What are the risks? Well, I will repeat myself time and time again, there are no dictators of the market. So the only thing I will remind you to do is to invest wisely and invest if you can afford it. So that pretty much wraps up our little conversation about CyBall. I hope you gained something insightful from this. Should you have any questions or queries, leave them down in the comment section below, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Once again, this has been Sahil from the Boss Lando Guild, and I look forward to seeing you next time.